once, think twice. Think alike consortiums. This is beautiful here in South Africa. The first ever interview. And I did, bro. We're going around Africa to tell you what we can do and what we are doing. And I believe this is going to be a very interesting one. It will cut across politics, lifestyle, and everything. And I think it will be of good help to you. If you want to grow as a young man, you want to learn as a young man, you have to watch this interview. Thank you so much. I have my brother with me, and if I mention my brother, a top brother, of course, the reception is just beautiful. No other person than my very own, Benjamin Quashie. He's a group chairman of Allied Consortium here in South Africa. Charlie, and then you didn't say more, bro. Try to remember. I feel in combination. So, they don't want my boy to say from this while. I've been packing inside for India, my brother Richard. Thank you very much for your love and support. Any other person who has been of help, Kabbalah in South Africa, God bless you for the warm reception and what they are. We've enjoyed South Africa, even 2 days. Hey, Charlie is super. The love is super. So thank you very much. The best is here. Now you're in Kumanaisha. So. Zakachi, welcome to NYANSATV.
Thank you, boss. How are you?
We've come to South Africa finally.
Very well. You're welcome.
Wow, we're happy.
Very happy to see you.
How many years have you been here?
I think I'm going into my 5th year.
5th year? Oh, okay.
Yes, 5th year. Not domiciled here permanently, but most of my businesses operate from here. So most of the times I'm here.
Oh, okay. So your businesses are here?
Yes.
What do you do actually?
Allied Consortiums is a group of companies that deal in real estate, oil and gas. And we're doing much to also help the deprived people in communities across Africa.
Wow.
We've done quite a couple of initiatives that have brought smiles to the faces of people, especially in Ghana, where I come from, in the eastern region, in the Volta region, in the northern region. Our concern is to make sure that our people are well taken care of, and that's what we do.
So the projects you're talking about in Ghana and the deprived communities, what have you done in those communities?
Most of the communities have been to, we've provided water, we've provided hospital bays for them, we've provided amenities that actually help. The latest one we're doing is in NYANSATV, where a whole community has not got health facilities and people have a lot of challenges.
Wow.
So what we do is to ensure that we bring smiles back on the faces of those people. And that's exactly what we do.
Government funded or something?
No. Absolutely not government funded. Oh. It's our initiative as a company.
Corporate social responsibility.
Corporate social responsibility.
Wow.
And I remember the last launch that we had presented 10 boreholes to the community in NYANSATV. And during the inauguration, I had to say that water has no political coloration.
Get it.
And so providing social amenities and interventions for people, you shouldn't look at political connections to do that. You should know that the people need it. So
They need, it's a need.
it's a need.
Wow, wow, wow. Yes, we'll show most of these things for you to see what my brother has done, and I think is commendable. Tell us, why South Africa? Why not Ghana?
It's a socio-economic problem. I believe that a lot of businesses in Ghana have had serious challenges that have made them to fall up.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to delve into it to years, but just recently you could you admit the fact that everything we do as businessmen is controlled by the dollar CD rate.
I get it.
And currently you can't do any business. You can even break even if you are in Ghana.
The dollar related business, you can break even.
You can break even. The truth of the matter is that cost of goods and services triple overnight, and so it becomes very difficult to even break even, like I initially stated. South Africa, because this is a business-friendly environment, most of their rates that they give to businesses and most of the opportunities that even their banking sector gives to individuals and businesses, it will let you know that Ghana is way behind.
Wow.
And it's a yardstick. South Africa can be a yardstick that we can learn from as Ghanaians if we want to grow businesses, because you would enjoy doing businesses here in South Africa because the government, the private sector, everybody teams up to give you a push. As a foreigner, yes, as a foreigner, I would put a challenge to you that you have to interview a couple of Ghanaians and ask them the easiest country where you can register a business is in South Africa.
Wow.
Yes. Most of our people who don't even have residence permits, who don't even have work permit, or who are not legally right to be here. You walk to the CIPC where they register companies, and they only need your data page of your passport. Tell them your idea. You register a business. If you are doing something that is impacting lives in society, government comes in to support you.
Ooh.
Tell me if that is something that happens in Ghana. It only happens to the connections you have. It's not like you just walk in and say, Registrar General, I want to register a company. It becomes imperatively difficult.
Wow. So in deciding to come here, you were just looking at the economy as a factor, or the environment they've created for the businesses or the foreign businesses. That is why you decided to do it here.
The one thing that drew me to South Africa was the issue about they having a very regulated banking sector.
Okay.
A banking sector that is domestically owned. I'm sure you've seen banks like Capitec, banks like First National Bank, banks like Standard Bank that has got Stanbic in Ghana. And these banks are domestically owned. So when you
owned by South Africans.
Owned by South Africans. For Capitec, it's 100% owned by them.
Okay.
I think FNB has now tried to give branches and ownership to other countries.
Okay.
But the truth of the matter is this. My main reason why I stayed for quite a long time in Sweden, in Europe, but I realized that doing business in South Africa, it's so close home. And if we want to go according to the agenda of development for our African continent, we need to network and integrate ourselves as business people across the continent.
Not really your country as a
not really your country. You can't do it from other places. I work here in South Africa. We have South Africans working for us. We have Ghanaians working for us.
Okay.
You look at a big company like MTN. They have South Africans working in Ghana, and then Ghanaians working in South Africa. So it's vice versa, and the opportunities they create, irrespective of the fact that South Africa is noted for the notorious xenophobic attacks. But in the real business sense, people that are in the business environment are always there to help grow each other. And I think that it's one of the reasons that not only me, but you find out that most Ghanaian businesses operate from South Africa. and then have branches across Africa.
You came and registered and they said you're good to go.
Yes.
What was the support you got from the government?
All right. So when we started, they have this thing they call BE support. The BE support is to do with the government directive that in every company you need to employ blacks after the apartheid whole scenario. So when you are able to convince the CIPC, which is the company registration company,
like in
Ghana, CIPC always wants you to come up with your business plan that shows that you are empowering black people, and that is all. They give you tax reprieves. They give you financial support if you need it. We never went for any of them,
okay,
but we ensured that we had South Africans employed that we can impact knowledge to. And also we also made sure that the reprieve that we'll get from corporate social responsibilities we get, because the government, the company's registry secretariat here knows that we are helping.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so you came 4 years ago. How was the environment like? Let's say you've settled. Sometimes you read about the place and you get there and realize that things are different. You got here and it was
not only you. I remember there was a gentleman who came from Ghana, and when we were driving around, he asked me if there is any other South Africa. And I said, no, there's none. And then he said, I asked him, why are you saying that? Then he said, the things we read about South Africa, the things we are told about the country. It's like when we get to the airport, we should see racism. We should see people not welcoming you. But it's the direct opposite. Truth of the matter is this. You would not take it from South Africans. Their hospitality is there for all to see.
Okay.
Now, I've told people that you don't judge a country by one person's behavior. There are people who most often become unscrupulous people who want to do things that will give the country the bad name and the bad image. But for some time now, I believe, ever since I've got here 4 years ago, it was worse with this xenophobic. It was a yearly thing that happened. But with time, the government is also coming up.
Were you not scared when that started as a business owner?
No, businesses always, as a business owner, you need to know that the risk factor is always there. People lost a lot of things. I never lost anything, John.
You did not?
No, I never lost anything. And I sympathize with people who lost things. But the truth of the matter is that you are able to quickly recoup than you will be able to recoup in Ghana. I know there was some years back, there was this serious flooding that killed a lot of people
in Ghana.
And government had come up with a fund that was supposed to help people. Till today, some people said they've not received anything.
Yeah, they've not. There's quite a circle thing.
The circle thing,
yes,
with the gas station going and all of that.
The circle thing. And circle disaster.
Yeah, and they've not received anything. But not in South Africa. Not it here. The systems, the social intervention systems, they worked so perfect like they're working in Europe. So when my senior brother had an accident, I think in 1997, and my parents tried to get this, the road accident fund, and he got no dime. Ask the number of Ghanaians who have had accidents in South Africa on the roads. People have been paid 2 million rands, 3 million rands. The system works because these things are there for you to see that it's a working economy, not an economy that is stagnated, not an economy that deals with only one or two families. No, it's generalized. There's a South Africa for you.
Wow. So you started and this attack came in. Why is South Africa noted for that? Is there any connection? Have you heard anything about that? Why are they so xenophobic?
I think it's a cultural situation.
Okay.
South Africans have suffered a lot. You and I know that they are the country that got independence in 1992, and there were people that the blacks were more than the whites, but the whites were they are suppressors, they are superiors. And so that mentality takes time to clear. I have said that xenophobic attacks most often are started by people who say, quote unquote, foreigners have come taking their jobs. But the truth of the matter is that foreigners rather try to empower them to get to know and understand businesses that they can be able to do here and there.
So if they put themselves into it, they can also do it.
They can do it perfectly. And you see, the funny thing is that they have opportunities more than any other foreigner that comes to set up a business here. But they don't go for those opportunities. So let's say they have 80% of government funding and government support. As a foreigner, I have only 20%. But I am utilizing that 20% very well. He finds it quite rather awkward that why am I doing well? But forgetting that I'm only getting 20% support. He could have gotten 80% support if he had gone to the same authorities to help him. So I think that the issue most of the times is also about education. And I'm sure that for the past 2 years, we've not heard about xenophobic.
No.
We've not heard about it. The last time, I think the government took a very, very, very different approach. You hear the EFF leader, Honorable Julius Malema, always saying that your black brothers cannot be your enemies. You don't chase them out, because I remember the late Nelson Mandela used to say when they wanted money to liberate this country, it was their brothers in Africa. Nigeria gave them the highest support. Ghana gave them $1 million. That was in the Jerry Rawlings system, and $1 million was no joke of money. But we all supported them. So if we've supported them, they also need to know that we are one people.
Thank you very much. If I want to do a business in South Africa, what would you advise as compared to Ghana or any other country?
Well, I'm not saying that it's not good to do businesses in Ghana. Ghana is also business friendly. You know, the AFTA head office is in Ghana now. The African Free Trade intercompatibility thing. I think Ghana, South Africa, the two countries need to learn from each other.
Okay.
I'll tell you this. If you want to do a business in South Africa, they have more opportunities in the real estate. They have more opportunities in manufacturing. They have more opportunities in oil and gas. They have more opportunities when it comes to food. Most Ghanaians are into this thing of coming down here with food, selling, making container loads of foods. And if you have seen South Africa properly, it's one country that never has a housing deficit. That is why the real estate business in South Africa progresses a lot. And I think it's something that the government and the people of Ghana needs to learn from, because I remember they said your rent control laws, you are supposed to pay 1 year advance. In South Africa, it's not like that. You pay 1 month, you move in. Every month you be paying your rent, you working, and there's no housing deficit. So I was thinking that
in Ghana, the rent control officer himself, who's supposed to know, will pay 2 years advance, or else they'll reject him.
Yes, so that's funny.
It's serious.
But the law works here. You can't be a landlord and say you are taking 1 year advance. No, nobody will give you. You can't. The law works perfectly. And so we need to learn. I read yesterday about the Seklemi housing project in Ghana. And you see, in South Africa, that project would have been a project that government takes over, gives to people, and recoups money from it. You understand? We have housing deficit in Ghana. A lot. And I think that you've seen a lot of South African real estate magnates coming into Ghana to come help us in the real estate industry. I think when we open our eyes and we are ready with our arms to welcome them, our country will also be a better place.
Wow. So we should welcome them into our country to also to feel that. What about security?
Security in South Africa has always been
because I was at Jovel and I didn't enjoy the place at all. It's very bad.
It's bad, and you can't mince words when it comes to security in South Africa, because you know, a country that has neighbors that can always come into the country through illegal ways and all of that. They come commit crimes, they go back to their countries without being apprehended. I think South Africa's only main problem is how to improve on their security. That is why most of their real estate magnates always want to go to Ghana, because they'll tell you that in Ghana, when they invest, they know that there's security, there's peace. And so it's unfortunate that now they are withdrawing, because there's security, there's peace, but they can't guarantee their money's there. And that is the problem with every investor. If you go in somewhere you cannot guarantee your money, you just move away. I think the security issue, like you've asked, it's something that the government must be concerned about, because there's no minute without robbery. There's no minute. I went to Ghana with my wife and a friend's wife, who is also a South African, and we went to Mamobi.
Okay.
So you see, there's guys who change dollars and other things. So we saw how the monies were packed by the road. So then my wife said, "What is this?" I'm like, "It's kind of money. It's money, real money." He said, "No, it can't be real money." So we went closer, and then I didn't change, but I said, "Touch this thing. Ask the guy." So I asked the guy, "What is this?" He said, "It's money." So I had the dollar on me, and I gave to the guy, and I said, "Can you change something for me?" I did that for my wife to believe that it's money. You know what she said? "You can't do this in South Africa. You can't. Not possible. It's not possible. You can't put money and say people can just, you know, that how they put it on the table."
Yeah, I know.
So security-wise, we are better than them. Ghana is very, very far better than them. But I think it's a paradigm shift from what they have experienced in times past. And I'm sure that with time, the country will grow and see that crime doesn't pay. They killed Lucky Dube through robbery. A lot of artists are dying through robbery here and there. Just recently, one also died, and I think that it's a slur when it comes to their security issues.
Walking in those streets is really scary. You're very, very scary. Very.
I wouldn't encourage you to even walk on the streets of Joburg, talk less of Yeovil, because even people who stay in Yeovil themselves cannot walk on the streets at that time of the night. But you see, that brings the issue about empowering our people, because most of these people who are doing these robberies and co are not empowered. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to go about it. And so if you have a prison system that doesn't correct people, that doesn't teach them traits, it punishes them. They come back, they want to do worse than that. And I think the government has come up with laudable ideas to actually grow people within our prison setups in South Africa. I think going forward, it's not good, but I know that with time, the security situation will improve.
Well, I've been to places that the places are nice, but Jovial and some areas, they filter too much.
Yes. But the truth of the matter, they filter too much, but they are planned. Okay. If you ask me, why do I say this? You walk through Mamobi, you walk through Nima, you walk through Accra Newtown. You can see that you're walking on a road, but you are going into somebody's bedroom.
Exactly.
You see that there's no road network, there's no water. But in their locations, they have all this.
They have it. The pavements are working.
The pavements are working. The roads are working. In case of emergencies and ambulances are driving, the streets are working. It's filtered, like you said. It's filtered everywhere, and everywhere in Africa. That is our problem: how to control filth and generate income from it. I think there are companies that are now working in South Africa. You see most of these boys pulling trucks of used bottles for recycling, cardboards and other things. It's filthy, yes, it is. But if you take South Africa, I think out of a percentage of 100, you have only 20% being as filthy as we're talking about. The rest are doing well.
Wow. Have you enjoyed South Africa? Have you enjoyed the place in terms of business, profit-wise?
No, how do you cannot even say a shred of doubt about it. It's a good place to be. Oh. It's home away from home. It's a place where you have good people. It's a place where I'm not worried to travel to the hinterlands to do farming, because on the road, I do 400 kilometers on a good road. I do 10 kilometers on a bad road. So I'm not always worried to go to Abosoka and to go change my shocks, to go do this. Fuel, they say it's a bit expensive here, but you can't compare it to what we have in Ghana.
Not at all.
And in other parts of Africa. So they have their peculiar problems as well as a country. But like I'm saying, their problems look like gold compared to our problems.
Oh, it's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have.
Wow. Wow. What about corruption?
Corruption is a canker that it's everywhere in Africa. Okay. You can't run away from it.
But if there are demons, you can see a higher demon and a smaller demon. So tell me about corruption.
Corruption in South Africa is high.
It's high.
Very.
Okay.
I say this because each and every day, currently the president is it's been also probed. Because there was a robbery that happened on his farm. And this is a president that says that the country should be a cashless system. But proceeds from his farm was kept under a a mattress in his house. And I think it's not good as a first gentleman of the land to do contrary to what he wants the country to do. But you see, Africa's problem is corruption. And I've always said that we have leaders that are not ready to learn to grow the continent. We have leaders who learn to grow their pockets and who always wants to help their cronies make money. And so you find it difficult getting a country where there is 100% public laws that are working, that fight against corruption, that ensures that, look, it's in this country that there are issues that have come up about how they handle their airline, South African Airways. And you could see that, people, just like we did to Ghana Airways, corrupting it by getting our girlfriends, the directors traveling anyhow. It was the same problem that they have. They've had serious corruption allegations. It's the only country that we've had presidents resigning because of corruption allegations. They push them out of the system. But the system is not working in terms of corruption. Police force, one of the most corrupt in the world.
Okay.
And corruption is everywhere in the society of South Africa.
In the middle of this, how do you survive as a business? I'm concerned about you.
No, as a business person, I have always maintained this thing that if you want to get something done, and you know that you genuinely want to get that thing done, it's better you walk away from influencing somebody to give you that opportunity. So if you have a road contract to do, and somebody says, give me bribe before you can do the road contract, and your road contract is supposed to be 100 million rands, and then somebody says, give me a kickback of about 10,000 or 10 million rand, it factors into the overall projection of the contract that you are supposed to do. At the end of the day, you will be struggling. That person takes the money. And
that's it. And you even take it before you start the project.
Exactly. So you need to avoid those things. And I think that the country has put in laws now that are working so much about streamlining these things about corruption.
Whoa. Have there anything happened that they are calling for money you will pay before they allow you to go in your business?
A lot of things of that sort have happened, not only in going into business. Sometimes you are already into business and you need certain things done. Unfortunately, you would think that it's something that you are doing to help, so you should have the leeway to be able to do it. But unfortunately, somebody will ask you for money to do it. It's a canker that is in this country, and that is in Ghana and also other parts of Africa as well. Yes.
Compare corruption to South Africa, Ghana.
You see, Ghana's problem is that we are paying lip services to fighting the canker called corruption.
Okay.
Our institutions don't work. The institutions that are there to be investigating corruption are rather investigating other things aside corruption.
Which is?
Look, I've read in details the Auditor General's report for last year. And some of the things that you see being indicated there by the Auditor General are things that we can pluck and make money as a country for. Talk about ghost names on our payrolls. In South Africa, there's nothing like ghost name on that.
Sure.
No, it's never happened. It cannot happen because, you see, when you are giving birth in a South African hospital, the identifiable number that you are giving to, the ID number that you are giving to at that hospital becomes the ID number you use till you die.
Oh.
So how do you have a ghost name? Because the systems are working so much that anything you do in the country, you do with your ID. So you go to a hospital, your ID number is used. You go to a bank for a transaction, your ID number. And remember, your ID numbers don't change.
It's the same.
It's the same. So when finally you report that you are dead, or family says you are dead because you were in the hospital, you died, the hospital put the record there. How do you have ghosts in the payroll?
No, but those that died in the home and they were not reported and all that.
The system works. It should be reported. Before an ambulance even comes home to come and pick you, the police will have to come with them. You can't beat the system when
you can't carry a dead body and go and bury without the consent of the police.
No. It's never happened here. You can ask anybody around here. That would
never. Ghana, every day everybody's changing his birth set. The next day another birth set, and it's like that.
I have a passport number that I used for 10 years. So I always mention it when we're traveling. So my wife, the last time when I mentioned a different one. Then I said, no, my passport expired. I've gotten a new passport. Then he said, okay, so why are you giving a different number? And I'm like, that's how the system works.
Yes.
I have a different passport number. So this different passport number, I'm going to use it for another 25 years. After that, I have a different passport number. What kind of system is that?
We have Ghana card now. Yes. I don't know if you have yours.
I do.
So what about that? Is it not better?
The number on the Ghana card will change after its expiry date.
Oh.
That is the truth. If you look at it, it's got a period of
yes.
it being in existence. After that, it expires. I think 10 years, right?
10 years. Mine is 2030.
After 10 years, the number will change again.
So it's not like a unified number that you use for life.
No, it can never be.
But they're trying to fix all the system into one thing, like the card.
Yeah.
It's not taking over our mobile system. It's taking over so many things you want to do. Our banking system. Everybody's taking your Ghana card
yes.
as a medium of identification. So
the problem, it's a laudable idea having a Ghana card to go with. But you see, when you allow selfish interests and parochial interests to overshadow the good that you have in terms of the idea for the Ghana card, it becomes a failure.
What do you mean by that?
It's only in Ghana that we hear that your birth certificate is not something that proves that you are a citizen.
Probably the system they allow people to go behind and do registration.
So my birth certificate is the first thing I received that made me a citizen of Ghana. Because when I was born, I had no identification until I got a birth certificate that gave me an identification as a Ghanaian. Today, I want to go to get the Ghana card. I don't have a passport. I've never traveled before.
Okay.
All I have is I have my birth certificate that proves my Ghanaian citizenship. Your law says that the birth certificate cannot prove that you are a citizen.
You need other people to prove
this is retrogressive law. I don't know who thought about it. I don't know who came up with that idea, but I felt that it was a shame that was perpetuated on Ghanaians, and the legal system allowed this to pass, not because they couldn't talk, but because they didn't have the political maturity to do it. You have a brilliant idea to come up with a Ghana card. Nobody says it's wrong. But if I want to go into that Ghana card, I need to go bring people to come testify that I'm a Ghanaian.
Do you see that as political?
It's political.
How?
Because it is believed that there are certain places in Ghana that will have people, condensed areas like places in the Volta region, in the northern region, that you find it difficult to come in to prove that this is a Ghanaian, this is not a Ghanaian. And remember, the processes of even getting approved doesn't stop at that center where you come with two people who confirm that you're a Ghanaian. It goes to different people also who says, we will look at it. What are you looking at?
Approving it. That's you're saying condensed areas like the Volta region. Yeah. What comparison are you trying to do? Like if you mention an area like
look at the statistics. Look at the statistics of people that have registered for the Ghana card.
Okay.
Ashanti is the number one. They top. A lot of people in Ashanti have gone through. They've had. I'm not being political, but sometimes you see.
We're talking issues here. It's very important.
Ghanaians tend to close an eye and say you are political if you say something that they think that berates the other person. But this is a collective thing. My concern is that there are a lot of people that are going to be disenfranchised. There are a lot of people that are going to be disapproved as citizens because they can't get the Ghana card. But the problem is that the Ghana card should have been the pride of every Ghanaian citizen. And the primary document that would let us be able to transform or to go onto the system of the Ghana card should have been our birth certificate.
Tell me, if you are the president of the Republic of Ghana today, looking at only the Ghana card system, and you were supposed to introduce something like this, what would be your approach?
I would rather make it better. If I was the president of Ghana, the first thing I would do is to get experts to come back. Let's make the primary document that every Ghanaian needs to use to become a citizen with the Ghana card. Let's add the birth certificate to it. Now, when we add it to it, we should ensure that the Ghana card, the identification system, should be apolitical. There should be no political interference when it comes to getting your numbers as a country, because that is where you know how to develop the country.
That's your base.
That's your base. So if we are able to do it and get it right, For me, I think that the best thing that any president will have to do is to get this whole idea revisited. The Supreme Court can be called again to rule. After all, the Supreme Court laws are made to be broken. And sometimes these laws, when they are broken, we begin to get explanations and dissections as to what the Constitution says. I think the Supreme Court erred in that judgment, and any president that comes can use his own veto power to correct it.
So that they will change the style of the Ghana card.
Exactly.
Did you see that because it was getting too close to elections, they were trying to push their way through and have it done so that we can use that as a means of voting?
The Ghanaian politician doesn't think about the interests of the people next. The Ghanaian politician always think about the next election.
Okay.
That is the problem we have in Ghana. So instead of looking at the moment a president is sworn in on the 7th of January, the thing he will say is that he looks forward to winning the next election.
So he's preparing from day one.
From day one. Instead of preparing to solve problems for at least 3 years. The Ghanaian politician always wants to do things in a way that he would look favorable for the next election.
So will you say that they will fix even people that will support them in their election, give them jobs, trying to...
No, but we've seen that with the police service, the immigration service. Look, it's unfortunate that we are not allowed to speak our minds freely. But the truth of the matter is that we are on a dangerous tragedy with the number of people that have become men and women in police uniform, in immigration uniform, because you hear them say, no, there's protocol list, this MP is supposed to bring this MP is supposed to bring that. And I feel that when you're doing that, you are collapsing systems that are supposed to be check and balances on other sectors of governance. Because if I put my people in the police service and I have about 100,000 people and I have done something wrong as a politician, and I expect those 100,000 people to say, hey, look, what you've done is wrong, they won't. They would do what I want because of their allegiance is not to the service. Their allegiance is to me. They might
still documents that are against you.
Exactly. So I think we need to grow about. Governance is a continuous process. We should grow away from thinking that when we come into power, you pack the Supreme Court, you pack justices to, you don't just appoint because you want the numbers to be able to do your bidding. It's not going to help grow a country.
Whoa. Is politics a challenge to your business?
Every businessman cannot stay away from politics.
Okay.
Because it is the leaders in the political field that create environments that become conducive for your business. Like it or not. If you don't support a politician's ideas and their objectives, and they come up with VAT increments, they come up with certain laws that affect your businesses, your business doesn't grow.
Okay.
So politics and business, they move in tandem. But in this country, no, politics has never affected, because it's in this country, it's like a two-horse race country in terms of political parties.
Okay.
So the ANC will forever continue ruling. So other political parties would always form alliances, but they cannot beat them. So for the ANC, that is for the black people, will continue to encourage black empowerment. So there's no way that you say that they will bring down your business. Unlike in Ghana, where the moment a party comes into power, if you are a road contractor, I know road contractors who have not gotten their monies paid.
So today,
because they believe that they belong to a political party that it's not in power. And when they do this, I ask myself, how do you want them to feed their families? So it becomes something that happens after every political cycle. Because if I am a president and I also come into government, I'll make sure that the people that are contractors for you, that you've paid, I also stop paying them. So you see, it becomes a vindictive kind of politics that we are doing, and it doesn't help anybody.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Charlie, we can't recover, and I believe there is so much to talk about after this break. Listen to me. People are making it. You can also make it. We're going to talk about those that fly all the way from Ghana, from other countries to South Africa, and the challenges they might be facing, and how you can also make it here if you want to really make it. He has said a lot. And then I'll veer more into his business, what he does, and how helpful that can be to us as people, the motivation to the youth, how we can also really get into it and get there, because it is possible. I'll be right back. You're welcome back. I want to do business in South Africa. I want to do business as a young man in Africa. What will be your advice? I might not have the capital. I have the energy. I want to do it. I want to try something. Because people are not having business. People want to employ. I want to really start something. They invest in. As a businessman, what will be your approach and advice to us?
Most often I tell people when it comes to business that our universities, our polytechnics, what they produce is people that are learned, but they don't produce people that can change lives. Look, in Africa, it's only in Africa that you have people go to school, they can be able to speak good English, but subjects like English are compulsory. Subjects like agriculture, they tell you it's not compulsory, it's optional. So that is why we end up speaking good English with no food. Now, there should be networking among us. Like you said, you've come back from the university, you have all the brilliant ideas. There's somebody that has also got brilliant ideas, and there are venture capital funds. Fortunately, it doesn't work in Ghana like it works here. When you venture and you decide, like I said, black empowerment is the most important thing for them. So once you have blacks in the business and you go to the CIPC company and say, look, we have this brilliant advice, we don't have the money, they look at it, they fund you, and they grow you. So there are a lot of business incubating that happens in South Africa, and it's growing businesses. A lot of Ghanaians here they are not people who work for businesses, they are owners of businesses.
Okay, they are not really in the business, but they own the business.
They own the business and make their profit. Employ people, get goods and services done, get whatever they say they are doing. There are Ghanaians here that are road contractors. There are Ghanaians here that are engineers. It's a country that it's for me. I say South Africa is the free world in Africa, just like the US is the free world for the whole world. Because here, once the business is a business that can be incubated, the help is there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What about Ghana? Let me get back deep into your business, your line of business. I want you to tell us more about what you do and where you've got into and where the vision is taking us.
The vision is taking us into being a real estate hub that helps every citizen get affordable housing. That has been our objective. We're working towards ensuring that becomes a reality.
In Ghana or here?
Yeah, in Ghana as well. In Ghana as well, because I always tell my co-workers that, look, the objective is to make Ghana the other South Africa in Africa, because we're doing most in the real estate industry. We're bringing people from here to Ghana who have agreed to help us in the real estate industry, so that we produce houses, we produce infrastructure that the ordinary university student who had just finished from the university and has got a first job can start paying for the next 20 years, for the next 10 years of an accommodation that becomes their own. In that case, you don't tell me to pay 2 years advance. Paperworks are done. You have taken occupancy of a 2-bedroom house, a 3-bedroom house. The rate of the house is 500,000, but if you are paying cash, you pay 500,000. But if you don't have the 500,000, we can spread it over 20 years. Each month, you'll be paying this. And to me, not only would that give people housing, but that would also make people become employed, because your employer would want you to be there so that you're able to pay whatever it is that you've taken in terms of a housing facility. And I think we also want to veer into the area of youth empowerment and development.
So let's do a deeper area in terms of the housing project you're talking about. If I need a house here compared to Ghana, let's say a 3 units for myself, how much would that cost me?
The repo rate in this country, it's very, very lower compared to that of Ghana. I don't have it off head, but the last time I checked, if you are buying a house for 1 million Ghana cedi, here should be around 700,000 in terms of the 2-bedroom house that you are looking for. So it depends on the repo rate.
Okay.
Now, what I know is that the opportunities here for you to be a landlord are higher than the opportunities for you to be a landlord in Ghana.
Tell me the lines.
Okay, so the reason is simple. You are chased to get a property that is for you. The moment you are from the university, or the moment you are from a polytechnic, or the moment you decide to work, the option is there for you. You can go, this is the only country that you can go and say, I want a car. I've started work. My salary is 20,000 rands a month, but I need to get a car because I can't be paying transportation in and out. They take your pay slip. They see you are being paid 20,000. They ask you, what are the other expenses you make in a month? Oh, I pay for my house. I pay for food. I pay for my kids' education. So when I finish all these things, I'm left with about 9,000. So they tell you, okay, you can take this Toyota Yaris, and every month we deduct 3,000 from your salary.
So it'll be extra for you.
It works.
Wow. Not in Ghana, because unemployment is a huge problem in Ghana. So the employment is not there for somebody to have access to even income for you to do a deduction. So it's not done.
That's a problem with Ghana, actually. Like I said, you and I know, and we can't mince words when we say that the systems in Ghana don't work. The systems in Ghana don't work. Look, we have a youth, what do you call it? The National Youth Council, now it's YEA or something. Youth Employment Agency, and a lot of our people they have good ideas, brilliant ideas, but there's no help. There's no help. So until the system work, we will continue.
You mentioned the system. You keep on saying, what is the system?
The system is people and institutions that we put in place as a country to safeguard our development.
Okay.
So you talk about the media landscape, you talk about the judiciary, you talk about the executive, and you talk about the legislature.
Okay.
Now, if every department is working, the country works. So, if for example, the YEA has all the support from the executive to help in employment, you wouldn't see a government budget that gives so much money to workers at the presidency, and then when it comes to YEA, they have no money to help people grow businesses. What are you doing with people working at the Jubilee House? Why do you have more than 200, 300 people under government payroll working under where they say government machinery? Then under government machinery you have PR. Under PR you have administration. Under administration you have another administration. You know, we quadruplicate positions just to satisfy political whims and caprices. That is the problem as a country. But if we are able to rather say, oh, YEA needs more money. Look, I just read this morning when Professor Yanka is saying that the Council of State, the budget for the Council of State is more than the budget for the Ministry of Agriculture. Are we not a funny country?
Compare NDC Mahama's administration to Nana Addo's administration for 4 years, not the current, for 4 years.
Okay.
And tell us what you think about the two in terms of business and when it comes to their leadership style and business. How do you say it?
Today is the birthday of President Mahama. Let me use this opportunity to wish His Excellency a happy birthday. And to say, look, if President Nana Addo didn't win the last elections and President John Mahama won, Ghanaians would have said President Nana Addo has been the president that Ghana has never got. Because you remember the Bawumia lectures.
I get it.
You remember when they said we have the men, when they mentioned the names, even me, at a point I said, maybe this will be the rescuers. Let's give them a chance.
Okay. Got to time you mentioned that.
It got to a time when I realized that we'd lost the elections. I'm like, okay, we will not cry over spilt milk. They say they have them. Bawumia has lectures. Bawumia gave the late Emisa Atta, Vice President Emisa Atta, questions to answer. So I expected that when he comes, he would have had answers for every question. But we've seen things that President Mahama did that are unfolding to solve lives and transform societies today.
Okay.
In the history of the MPP, from the time that they became their government came into office, tell me one single new hospital that they've built to their name and said, we started this hospital in the first year we became a government, and after 4 years we've concluded it. UGMC is there, Rich
There's
Hospital.
medical.
Rich Hospital is there.
Rich is there.
You go to Kotoka International Airport. It's rated the best in West Africa. It's fighting among the best in Africa. You go to places. There are which country and in which right sense of a government would you say you've abolished road tolls? I'm sure you've traveled across the world.
I move.
Everywhere, even in the United States of America, in Canada, in Switzerland, everywhere, they have road tolls, because those are in South Africa. South Africa has even made it more sophisticated by having what they call the e-tag. So on some of the roads, when you are moving, you are paying the 2 rands, you are paying the 1 rands, you are paying, and it is not used for individual.
So as you're driving around, your car is being paid.
It's
and you are paying. How do you pay?
It's. Remember, the system is a cashless system.
Okay. So you're driving, but
you pay.
You pass there, it paid you, and you paid.
And you've paid. You don't know that you've paid.
Ooh.
At the end of the month, in your salary, you see that, or when you go to renew your DICs, you see that you are supposed to pay 100 rand. And you know what they use those road tolls for?
No.
It's not for government. It's not. It's for corporate, individual institutions, private institutions, for them to maintain the roads. So there can be a 5-kilometer stretch of road. All the tolls on that one goes to a particular company,
and you fix the road in that area.
It's not government coming to fix the road. So you see, that's why I say that President Akufo-Addo's administration has only come to fix their individual problems, to massage his ego. I say this without any shred or me being unapologetic, because look, we were in this country when the MPP administration told the NDC administration that you don't eat infrastructure, you don't eat roads. Before the NDC left power, how much was the dollar rate to the city? 4 point something, 3 point something. We were told that it's a mark of incompetence. Today the dollar is 14.
The word incompetence there.
Yes. But today, when you hear somebody like Akoto Efie saying, the agric minister saying that nobody should use the word incompetence on him. They are not, they are not incompetent. They are super incompetent. They are the worst administration that has happened to the Fourth Republic. And Ghanaians,
they came.
Look, this is not a time. This is a time to be patriotic and say, look, we are suffering. You don't want to heap much more suffering on people and say Charlie nyamu penena abim. But we would have to all be able to grow out of the situation.
When you say it is good they came, so people could know or something?
Look, it's important that they came.
Okay.
It's very important that they came. It's very important that we got to see the other side of a president who, prior to becoming a president, said, he said it. He said he was begging us that give me a chance. I will not enrich myself. I will not empower people that are families and friends. Today, how many friends and families that President Akufo-Addo have in his administration? Today, President Akufo-Addo can go into a media interview and tell you that if you decide to vote for NDC, it's your own cup of tea. He's not forcing you to come to it. But heated to that, he said to us as Ghanaians that, please try me too. So if this is not a mark of incompetence at the highest level, what is it? It's good they came, because now Ghanaians can compare and contrast the two. From Nkrumah's administration till today, the debts that have accumulated within. So you see, this government is a government that is only interested in borrowing. Esla Owusu some time ago said if President Mahama's idea of fixing the economy is to borrow money and fix ABCD, then his son was more intelligent than the president. Esla had the guts to sit on radio and say this. Today, you and I ask ourselves, how much money have they borrowed? What did they use the borrowed monies for? I thought borrowing was a lazy man's approach to governance. Today, we are not only borrowing, we've become a debt-stressed nation. Now, what we are doing with the IMF is that give us that green light that we can go and borrow more, but tell the people that your program will make us to be debt sustainable. That's all we are doing. So as a country, what can you show, or what can this government show that they've done for the people?
Do you think Mahama is ready for the next 4 years?
Look, I have had interactions with President Mahama a couple of times. And I can tell you one thing. President Mahama is not coming back to power to come do a bidding of the NDC party. President Mahama is coming back to power to ensure that the good works he started, he completes them. President Mahama knows that when he comes to power, after 4 years, his tenure of office is finished. So President Mahama is coming back. It's not to enrich himself. President Mahama wants to come and finish what he started. President Mahama is going to have a lot of challenges because the country is in a mess. But trust me, his own idea is to come fix the mess and prove to Ghanaians that there is a difference between him, his administration, and the MPP administration. I am not saying that President Mahama is a saint, but if a saint is a sinner who keeps on trying, then I think President Mahama best fits who a saint is.
Whoa.
That is the truth.
So you tell every Ghanaian to vote for him in the coming election?
I would be in full gear campaigning for him.
Oh, you're ready for campaign?
Yes, I'll be in full gear campaigning for him because what I know is that the MPP has disappointed us.
But there was so much corruption during his time. We had so much corruption during the NDC time before Nana came to power.
The media cabal in Ghana made President John Dramani Mahama look like a bad person to Ghanaians.
Okay.
When I say the media cabal, every morning on Peace FM's Kokroko, every morning on Joy FM, every morning on City FM, it was President Mahama this, President Mahama that. Today, you guys don't have, quote unquote, the balls to call Nanado to order. You don't have it.
Was that an agenda setting kind of theory they were employing like the media?
So you see, if you have a country that, again, it goes back to the systems not working, but a country that one agency or one arm of government tries to suppress the other, you don't grow. The sort of things that are happening under this current administration. Look, let's take the finance minister Ken Ofori-Attah's Honorable Ken Ofori-Attah's situation as a talking point. A whole country has a finance minister whom 80-something members of his party in parliament says they don't want him again. Then a president comes and says that, look, you can't tell me to reshuffle. How do you reshuffle performing ministers? We, the citizens that gave you the power, are telling you that this guy is not performing. We've not seen a country where the cedi is now the most useless currency in the world, not in Africa.
You lift so much cedis to buy small dollar.
Bawumia worked with the Zimbabwean bank. The Zimbabwean bank, the Reserve Bank, Zimbabwe's currency became the most useless currency, where you have to carry money in wheelbarrows to go buy a loaf of bread. That is what is happening in Ghana. The economic wizard that we were told we had has now become a DJ. He's become a sports fanatic. He's now doing acrobatics with football. And you see, like it or not, the cabal, the media cabal that has now they can't even talk. There are others who were criticizing and said they will talk today, they will talk tomorrow, they will talk forever. Today, when we asked them, they said no. Now they send him messages,
threat messages.
What kind of a system is it? And President Akufo-Addo
said, you receive a call from somebody, a private line, telling you that you know where your children's school, you know this about you. Then that becomes a kind of fear for you. You have to keep quiet.
Are you surprised? A country where Ahmed Swale was murdered after a member of parliament had posted his picture on a TV station that anybody who sees him should beat him and maim him and that he will pay for. That person is walking around. The government that said that they were going to use the ANAS principle in fighting corruption today have asked the Supreme Court to tell ANAS that your means of doing investigation is wrong. But this is the same kind of investigative journalism that Manasseh Azuri did in that Burkinabe Fort saga. The media, you championed the agenda. You made everybody in the country believe that President Mahama was wrong. And President Mahama never said that, okay, I don't want to be investigated. But you have a president who sits at the Flagstaff House or the Jubilee House and clears ministers left, right, center. How would your country grow?
How would your country grow? Tell me about your business. Let's leave politics. Something small about your business. What do you run in Ghana?
In Ghana we also into the so it's a consortiums.
Okay.
So we call them the allied consortiums. So what we've done is that everything we do in South Africa we do in Ghana as well. So we've gotten people that
want to buy a house in Ghana.
Yeah,
and come
we've
to
started the project.
Where is it located in Ghana?
We have one in Pram, one in Quashie. We've started. We've not yet commissioned, but
if I need a house to buy and I consult.
So what we are doing now is that we don't need you to come and give us money to build a house for you.
Okay.
So it will be, let's say, a duplet of flats. There will be 2 bedrooms, 1 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, depending on you coming and telling us, look, I'm a teacher. My salary is 1,900 a month.
Okay.
I need a house for myself. Okay. So we'll do the credit rating. We'll do your accessibility credit worthiness. Once we do it and you're okay, we give you the house.
Calculate the number of years it will take.
You understand that, look, I'm not staying in the house as a tenant forever, but I'm staying in the house as an owner.
You're still paying your 500 Ghana a month or 1,000 Ghana cedi a month, but over the years to become your own.
You become your own.
Okay.
Which is a good thing.
Wow. Have you started?
Yeah, we have.
Trying to apply for it?
Not yet, because we want to complete the Pram and the Quashie project. We're looking at the middle of next year.
Okay.
Once we are done, we'll come to people like you.
Ready. We will have to.
Yeah.
Do you have pictures of it?
Yes, we have a couple of pictures.
We want to show it on the screen for you. We want to get in touch with you to do business with you. If anybody want to come in touch with your company.
Well, it's Allied Consortium. So their website is www.alliedco.co.za.
Wow.
Once you go to the website, there means that you can talk to us, and then you get to us.
Thank you very much for your time.
It's been a pleasure talking to you. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Boss, thank you.
Yes,
thank you for having me.
Charlie. You were talking about a country where all can somewhere before Maya and what I make up on me. Or Maya. When it's your son of creamy and she young cat. On my party politics, I don't have a problem. I'm a year. On my we are saying, Fanny, I am out to me, Sakasa, Utim from Mukasa, it's in the catch of the Jai, the Wokan. And no view, your friend, a catcher or boss to say, Unjai the Wokan. Say you, on my baby. Media, one principle is that we should never be censored, so that the information can come out to help society grow. Now there is so much censorship around. Nobody can talk. What is happening? So during the NDC time, there were parties, media house like that, but then there were so many platforms that people had the opportunity to talk. But today it is becoming something. No mind any. Central for media freedom is very important. Media freedom is very important. Media freedom is important. If the media doesn't become powerful, anybody can have his way through. Mr. For media freedom is very, very key. Galamsey a case here called Ghana. Mintia Galamsey intimate cordon say media no intimate case bill. It's something for media and the Tinko fans and the Babontain. It's Makwai, no Moncasa. Makwai no Moncasa. No man intimate yet do my Ghana. Yet do my Ghana bobo. You intimate transit. In South Africa, we call places Ghana for Asia. You enjoy the way you share your JC and the way you bomb pie will be a up and down because on mine who got there come so. And then you born national anthem, you see people walking around first. People will stand and wait. What's up say who feel proud as a Ghanaian? Now it is not so. Let's change it. Ghana can still work. If we have the system in South Africa, in Ghana, some few days ago I say the system in South Africa say more Ghana. Oh. It will be a super place to be. Mr. We corruption and why. And then call class 1 or corruption. Class 1 teachers over bono. No afa biscuits in the bag with the combat teacher. Teacher J. No album. Can you imagine this? The country is in problem. Please, we can make it happen. When you say you did my young for door and for my home. Never sure saw them try. Papa me doing come on, me bema, me apina me doing come on. No other person than Benjamin Quashie group chairman allied consortium me pacho hwehwe yen ne be nante pasan say ye de nsem bebre ye fa na business no dia bro me nso me kwa kwaje ni dan ni bi nso kwaje bi ne yen kakra na pressure me mra form me de sia say ye da mo tie chi nyina ase me be ma Richard onyum tuni o South Africa obonyum pa na o sawo because sunny side obwa the restaurant hold the pie the bia be edi me need be interview so ma wa hebi ye da masese mo boy want me nkai de sia say bye for now.